Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
This time we're looking at the Polestar 4,
The Polestar 4.
this EV.
Yeah.
It's making waves, and
Yeah.
not just because it's electric.
Right.
There are some pretty daring design choices going on here, and we're going to get into all that.
Absolutely.
We've got a whole stack of reviews, comparisons, articles, all about this car.
Yeah.
We even found some stuff from the Swedish Auto magazine,
Oh, wow.
just to give us that extra bit of,
Perspective.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating because Polestar is really trying to kind of like carve out this niche for themselves, right? As
Yeah.
a performance EV brand.
Uh,
But it's a tough market right now.
it is.
There are a lot of big players.
Yeah,
You've got the legacy automakers going electric.
right.
And then...
And Tesla,
And Tesla, of course.
the big one.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
Let's unpack this Polestar 4.
Yeah.
And I think we got to start with the design
Okay.
and the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
No rear window.
No rear window.
That's a bold move.
It definitely grabs your attention right away. I mean,
Yeah.
instead of a traditional rear window, you're getting a digital rear view mirror.
Yeah.
It uses a camera feed.
Interesting.
Car experts said that at the launch event,
Yeah.
the journalists were actually more interested in the Uranus's ambient lighting theme than the missing window.
Uranus lighting.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have to circle back to that.
Right.
But seriously, no rear window.
Yeah.
What are people saying about that?
It's really a mixed bag.
Okay.
Some reviewers, like Wiscar, said it was a bit disorienting at first,
Yeah, I can imagine.
but others are saying it's actually better for the passengers in the back.
Right.
You know,
More room.
more expansive view.
Yeah, makes sense.
No window to block the scenery.
And speaking of those backseat passengers,
Yeah.
all the reviews we've seen are raving about how good it is to be a passenger in this car.
It's true.
What's making it so special?
Well, the extended roofline gives you more headroom. And Drive said the reclining rear seats,
Yeah,
they make it feel like a limousine.
fancy.
Plus, rear passengers get their own climate controls and media settings,
Oh, wow.
so they can really personalize their experience.
Tampered.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got luxury, we've
Mhm.
got a very unique design,
Yeah.
but how does this thing actually drive?
All right.
Does it live up to the hype?
Well, it depends on which version you go for.
Okay,
There's a single motor and a dual motor.
right.
What Car said the single motor was actually surprisingly engaging,
Really?
especially on winding roads.
Interesting.
They said it felt really nimble for its size.
So you're not sacrificing on the driving experience even if you go for the cheaper single motor?
Not at all.
Okay.
Now, if you want pure speed,
Yeah.
the dual motor is going to blow you away.
Okay, how fast are we talking?
0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.8 seconds.
Wow.
That makes it the fastest Polestar production car yet.
All right, that's quick.
Yeah,
But let's be realistic. Everyone wants to know about range.
of course.
Are the official figures actually holding up in real-world driving?
That's where things get a little bit tricky.
Okay.
The official range figures are impressive,
Yeah.
but some reviewers, Stuff said that in the real world you might get less,
Right.
especially if you're driving aggressively.
Makes sense.
So managing expectations is key here.
Yeah.
Don't expect to hit those top numbers all the time.
For sure.
It's going to depend on how you drive.
Okay, so maybe not as far as advertised,
Yeah.
but what about the tech inside?
Right.
What's it like to sit in the Polestar 4?
Well, the first thing you'll notice is it's very minimalist,
Okay,
almost spaceship-like.
I like it.
Very few buttons,
Mm-hmm.
and a massive landscape-oriented touchscreen dominates the dashboard.
Sounds futuristic,
It is.
but is it user-friendly?
That's where opinions differ.
Okay,
Some reviewers loved the clean look and how responsive the system was,
right.
but others found it a bit frustrating.
Really? What didn't they like?
Well, even basic functions like adjusting the side mirrors require going through the touchscreen menus.
Oh, so not super intuitive.
Not for everything, no.
And I think we saw some reports of glitches, too.
Yes, there were reports from several sources, including Technikens World,
Okay.
about glitches with the touchscreen and other tech features.
So it sounds like they're really relying on over-the-air updates
They are.
to fix these issues.
Yeah, to smooth things out.
That's a bit of a gamble, isn't it?
It is.
Putting so much faith in software updates.
It definitely raises questions about reliability
Yeah.
and how these systems will hold up over time.
Right, especially for a brand that's trying to be seen as premium.
Exactly.
So speaking of trying to establish themselves,
Yeah.
let's shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about Polestar, the company.
Right.
Where do they fit in this whole EV landscape?
Well, they're trying to build a reputation for performance EVs.
Uh-huh.
But like we said before, it's a tough market.
Yeah.
They're up against Tesla, And all the traditional luxury brands that are going electric now.
It seems like everyone's making an electric car these days.
They are.
So how is Polestar planning to stand out?
Well, for one, they're leaning into their Volvo heritage,
Okay.
emphasizing safety and Scandinavian design.
Makes sense.
They've also got some ambitious expansion plans.
Like what?
New production plants in the U.S.
Wow.
shows they're serious about scaling up.
Yeah, they're going all in?
And here's something interesting.
Okay, what is it?
They're developing ultra-fast charging technology.
Tell me more.
They're saying it can add 200 miles of range in just 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's barely enough time to grab a coffee.
I know, it's incredible.
That could be a game changer
It could.
for those long road trips.
Absolutely.
No more range anxiety.
Exactly.
Okay, so big ambitions,
Yeah.
cutting-edge tech on the horizon,
Mm-hmm.
but also facing some real challenges.
For sure.
Where do you think Polestar is headed?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
They're pushing the boundaries,
Yeah.
but they need to convince consumers that they're a real alternative.
To the big players. It's
Exactly.
going to be interesting to watch.
It will.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
The daring design,
Mm-hmm.
the luxurious passenger experience,
Yeah.
and Polestar's ambitious plans.
Absolutely.
But we've only scratched the surface.
There's more to come.
We'll be back in just a moment to dig even deeper into this intriguing car. Welcome back to our Polestar 4 deep dive.
Back again.
Last time we kind of got a taste of what makes this car so unique.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to really dig deep into all those little details.
Yeah, let's dive back into that no rear window decision. Because
Okay.
it's not just aesthetics.
I'm sure there's some thought process behind this, like
Right.
there has to be.
Yeah, it's all about maximizing space for those rear passengers.
Okay.
So they really wanted to stretch that roof line
I see.
as far back as possible.
So it's all about that limousine experience we talked about.
Exactly. Plus, that sleek roof line helps with aerodynamics.
Right, which is important for EVs.
Crucial. You got to squeeze out every mile of range.
Yeah, for sure.
Every kilometer.
But what about visibility?
Right. How can you see what's behind you?
Yeah.
Well, that's where the digital rearview mirror comes in. It's a live feed from a rear-facing camera.
Right.
And it actually gives you a wider field of view than a traditional mirror.
Oh, interesting.
It's like having a high-definition wide-angle lens
Oh, I like that.
showing you what's back there.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
But I imagine it takes some getting used to,
Definitely.
not having that, familiar rear window to look at.
It's a different experience for sure.
Yeah.
Some reviewers adapted quickly.
Okay.
They said the digital mirror was clear and comprehensive,
Hmm.
but others said it took a while to get used to judging distances,
Yeah.
depth perception and all that.
It's probably like when you switch from a regular computer monitor to a VR headset.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Right. Your brain has to adjust to the new way of seeing things.
It has to recalibrate.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of recalibrating,
Yes.
let's go back to that minimalist interior.
Right.
All screens, no buttons.
Yeah.
How are people feeling about this?
It seems like people either love it or hate it.
Yeah,
I think the tech young people are like, oh, this is so cool.
right.
It's so clean.
Clean aesthetic.
But then other people are like,
Yeah.
where are my buttons?
I need something to press.
Yeah, I need that tactile feedback.
It's a classic debate.
Yeah,
Touchscreen convenience versus the intuitiveness of physical controls.
it's always going to be a debate.
It is.
But that big touchscreen in the Polestar 4,
Yeah.
that's like the command center for everything.
Is climate navigation media.
Right.
Everything runs through that screen.
But like we mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
even simple things like adjusting your mirrors,
Yeah.
you had to go through a bunch of menus,
Zoo.
and some reviewers found that super distracting while driving.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a learning curve.
For sure.
And then there are those glitches we talked about.
Right, we can't ignore those.
We can't, it seems like Polestar is really relying on those over-the-air updates to fix things.
Fix things.
Yeah.
So it's like buying a car that's in beta.
It is.
It's like it's not quite finished yet.
It does make you wonder how these systems will age,
Right.
a few years down the line.
And especially for a brand that's trying to be premium.
Exactly. They need to nail that reliability aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's talk performance.
All right, let's do it.
We know the dual-motor Polestar 4 is super quick,
It's rocket.
but what about the single-motor version?
Yeah, is it still fun to drive?
It is.
Huh.
Several reviewers were really impressed with it.
Interesting.
They said it handled really well, especially on twisty roads.
Oh, wow.
They described it as nimble and fun.
So it's not all about, like, brute force.
Not at all.
Okay, good to know.
And remember, the single motor version is more affordable.
Right.
And it might be a little easier on the battery range, too. Well, that's a good point.
So if you're looking for that balance of performance, efficiency, and price, it's a good option.
Okay, so not a bad choice at all.
Not bad at all.
Now, what about that range?
Yeah.
We know those official numbers. They're not always realistic.
Right.
What are people actually getting out there in the real world?
Well, one review mentioned averaging around 19 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers in the single motor,
Okay.
and 21 to 22 for the dual motor.
All right, not bad.
And that was with some spirited driving.
So not too far off the official claims then?
Not too far off.
But I imagine things like driving style,
Oh, yeah.
terrain weather.
All that stuff plays a role.
Yeah, it all makes a difference.
It does.
And that brings us back to Polestar's ultra-fast charging.
Yes.
I remember they're saying 200 miles of range in just 10 minutes?
10 minutes. It's like stepping into the future.
It really is.
That kind of speed could eliminate range anxiety for a lot of people.
Yeah, no more planning your whole day around charging stops.
Okay, so we've covered design, performance,
Yeah.
range. But what about Polestar, the company?
Right?
Can they actually make it in this crazy EV market?
They've definitely got their work cut out for them.
Yeah. I mean, they're up against giants.
Giants Tesla, the legacy automakers.
It's a tough crowd.
It is.
But they do have some advantages, right?
They do.
Like, what are they doing right?
Well, they're building on that Volvo legacy,
Okay.
safety quality, and they're making bold moves with technology and design.
Yeah. I mean, that no rear window thing, that's bold.
It is bold.
And they're expanding.
Expanding big time, those new production plants in the U.S.
Right.
That shows they're serious.
Yeah, they're putting their money where their mouth is.
They are.
And that ultra-fast charging tech.
If they can actually deliver on that,
Yeah, that could be huge.
could be a major differentiator.
Imagine charging your car in the time it takes to grab a coffee.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
Yeah, it would change everything.
So Polestar's got a lot of potential,
They do.
but also facing some really tough competition.
For sure.
We've looked at the design, the performance, the tech, the company's place in the market.
It's a lot to take in.
But there's still some more juicy details to uncover.
Oh, yeah, there's more.
We'll be back in a moment to wrap things up
Okay.
and explore those final pieces of the puzzle. Welcome back to the final part of our Polestar 4 deep dive.
The grand finale.
We've talked design, performance, tech.
Yeah.
But what about those little
The
details?
finishing touches.
Yeah, the things that really make a car stand out.
Right.
What else have we
But
uncovered?
let's go back to that luxurious rear passenger experience.
Okay,
It's not just about legroom.
right.
It's about those little extras.
Okay, give me an example.
Imagine you slide into those power reclining seats.
Mm-hmm.
Adjust your personal climate settings,
Okay,
your media settings,
I like it.
and you gaze up through that expansive glass roof.
But wait a minute. Didn't some reviewers have problems with that glass roof?
You're right, some of them wish there was a standard shade option.
Makes sense, especially in sunny places.
Exactly.
Okay, so maybe pack a hat if you're sensitive to the sun.
Good advice.
But let's move on to safety.
All right.
What's Polestar doing to keep everyone safe in the Mid-4?
Well, they're taking it seriously,
Yeah.
which is what you'd expect from a brand with Volvo roots.
Right.
The Polestar 4 comes standard with a whole suite of driver assistance systems.
Okay, what kind of systems are we talking about?
Adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist,
Okay.
blind spot monitoring,
Yeah.
rear cross traffic alert,
Mm-hmm.
automatic emergency braking.
It's like having a co-pilot,
It is like an invisible co-pilot.
always watching out for you.
They're keeping you safe.
And I feel like these advanced safety features,
Yeah.
they're becoming pretty standard in new cars.
They are, especially in EVs.
And you know what's interesting?
What?
We found some data from Digital Journal
Okay.
saying that EVs actually get fewer complaints.
Fewer complaints than gas-powered cars.
Really? That's surprising.
It is kind of counterintuitive.
You'd think with all that fancy tech.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be more to go wrong.
But it seems like they're pretty reliable.
Mechanically, yes.
Okay, good to know.
Of course, the software side is a different story.
Right, those touchscreen glitches.
We've talked about those.
Yeah, we can't forget those.
But overall, it seems like AVs are pretty dependable.
Okay, that's good news.
Good news.
So let's talk about what's powering this electric beast.
All right.
What's under the hood, or I guess under the floor?
Under the floor, you've got your choice of a single motor or a dual motor setup,
Okay,
both powered by a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack.
that's a big battery.
It is.
So what kind of power are we talking about here?
The single-motor rear-wheel drive version gives you 200 kilowatts,
Okay.
which is about 268 horsepower.
Not bad.
Plenty for everyday driving.
For those who want more oomph.
Yeah, if you want to unleash the beast.
What about the dual motor?
The dual-motor all-wheel drive?
Yeah.
That one gives you 400 kilowatts, which is around 536 horsepower.
Wow.
That's how you get that 0 to 100 time of 3.8 seconds.
That's seriously quick.
It is.
So big picture.
Yeah. Final thoughts.
What do you think about the Polestar 4?
Mm.
Is it a game changer?
I think it's definitely bold and innovative.
Okay.
It pushes boundaries with the design.
Yeah.
It's got that luxurious, spacious interior.
Mm-hmm.
And the performance is impressive,
Especially with the dual motor.
especially with the dual motor. But
There's always a but.
it's not perfect.
What are the downsides?
Well, those touchscreen controls can be frustrating.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And those software glitches raise some questions about reliability.
Hmm.
And let's be honest, it's not a cheap car.
Right. It's a luxury EV.
It is.
So it's kind of a mixed bag.
It is a bit of a mixed bag.
It's promising,
Yeah.
but maybe not quite there yet.
It'll be interesting to see how Polestar addresses those issues.
With the software glitches.
Exactly. And how that ultra-fast charging tech develops.
Yeah, that could be a game changer.
It could.
So maybe the Polestar 4 is for those early adopters.
Yeah, the people who are willing to embrace the cutting edge.
Quirks and all.
Exactly.
It's a glimpse into the future,
It is.
but maybe not quite ready for everyone just yet.
Not quite mainstream.
And that's what's so exciting about EVs right now.
It is an exciting time.
There's so much innovation happening.
Constant change.
New ideas all the time.
It's a great time to be a car enthusiast.
Even with a few bumps in the road.
There will always be bumps.
Well, that brings us to the end of our Polestar 4 deep dive.
We made it.
We covered a lot of ground.
A lot.
The design, the performance, the tech, the company.
Everything.
But the conversation doesn't have to end here.
What should our listeners think about?
Here's something to ponder.
Okay.
As cars become more and more reliant on software, how much control are we willing to give up to algorithms?
That's a good question.
And how do we make sure those systems are reliable and safe?
Right, and user-friendly.
It's all about finding that balance between innovation
Yeah,
and human-centered design.
absolutely.
That's a great thought to leave us with.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Polestar 4.
I'll see you next time.
Until next time, keep those wheels turning and your minds open to the possibilities of the electric future.